So as a 10-year-old man, I had to get out in them streets early. And so that shaped and molded me. Fast forward, I had a life of crime, got a lot of felonies under my belt because I was reared in that community. I'm a product of my environment. We did not have any real positive influences that were strong that would counteract the dominant influences, because all of the big brothers, the uncles, the homies, the OGs, all of them were involved in that. Fast forward, in 1995, I started serving a 30-year sentence for the illegal distribution and manufacturing of controlled substances. Brother, I was in that old walls in Jefferson City, Missouri. I remember this specific incident that made me want to transform the way that I thought. Here I was sitting in this maximum security prison, at that time, probably the most dangerous prison in Missouri. They didn't have doors, they had bars, and I was on the very top tier, and you could hear people screaming and hollering. Man, and I heard these dudes, so I'm 23, these guys 40 and 50 years old, playing and laughing, and they done been locked up 10 and 20 years. And I said, oh yeah, no, I don't want that for me. If I'm blessed to have an opportunity to be free again, I don't want to be 40 and 50 years old acting like I'm 15 or 20. I was introduced to the autobiography of Malcolm X, transformed my life. Transformed. Malcolm was somebody I could identify with. He was in the streets. Man, he was just somebody that I could identify with. So by me being able, like I had this fascination. And so by me looking at him as a role model and an example and somebody that I could relate to, I started pursuing his course of studies. Man, it was an enlightening and empowering thing. If you have been in the dark all your life, and then suddenly, right, you've been conditioned to believe that you're blind, you can't see because somebody put you in a dark room. The minute that you get exposed to light, man, it has a transformative and empowering effect. And that's what happened to me. When that light clicked on, it generated in me an insatiable appetite for knowledge that's still not satisfied to this day. Once I start realizing that, hold on, I'm not who they say I am. I had internalized a bunch of ideas and images about myself that were untrue. I started to study the history, not the American history, right, was not the history that really impacted me. I studied a lot of Black history prior to slavery. Songhai, Mali, Kana, Ghanem Bornu, Merowe, Kemet, the Moors. People don't even know about the Moors, brother. Like they are not. It's crazy. We have all these things going on in these schools, and these systems of education, but they strategically leave information out because they want people to be indoctrinated and fall up under the control mechanisms of the system. And once you free people from physical bondage, but you maintain control of the information, if I can control what you think, I can control how you behave. If I control how you behave, I can control the limits of your behavior. I can control what you do, what you respond, how you respond. In school, for example, when we talk about slavery, or we talk about Black history, the narrative has been given to us that they found us over in Africa in a semi-primitive state with bones in our noses and grass skirts running around throwing spears, right? And then they talk about slavery. And there's some books that even talk about it was a work agreement between Black people and white people. Brother, what they do to camouflage the atrocities is ridiculous. The importance of history for me is not only does it remove that ignorance, it instills in you a healthy sense of self that allows you to understand your value. And when you understand your value, you won't tolerate a certain type of treatment.